the tagline, on live a life on purpose for purpose, basically is this, dude, is that, I wanted to live my life on a day-to-day basis, no matter what we do. First of all, no matter what you do, you're doing something. There's a cause and effect, whether it's positive or negative, positive consequences or negative consequences. There's always something there that whether you're eating, chips and, can't figure out why you're freaking, you're not very sharp at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast, where we bring to you the most successful, happy, fulfilled gentlemen from around the world who have been able to conquer themselves, their life, their marriage, and their businesses. You will be learning from 4-dimensional gentlemen who have cracked the code to the science of having it all. The question is, how can married entrepreneurs with kids become gentlemen, achieve true freedom, and build a successful, happy, and fulfilled life, marriage, and business? This show will give you the answer for that. My name is Alex Ramirez, and I'm your host, and you're welcome to the Gentleman Success, Happiness, Fulfillment Talk podcast.
Like I was saying, I personally want, I have to set a standard for what my daughter is going to look for when she's of my age and looking for a man. And then also for my son, when he's 29, I can go back and say, hey, look, son, this is what I've recorded. I've already made a ledger, a standard operating procedure for the things that you're potentially going to go through. What my dad went through, what his dad went through is not what we went through. And it's unfortunate that, we try to make it similar. But it's not. It's completely different. It's like once business before coronavirus and business after coronavirus. It's like real estate before 2008 and real estate after 2008. I mean, it's like the internet before 2000 and the internet after 2000. It's like the world before on September 10th, 2001, and the world on September 11th, 2001. I mean, it's completely different. Raising kids and standards, but dude, it's really unfortunate because people aren't talking about this, Alex. And I just want to honor you and say, dude, like, I'm just glad that young men like you are doing something, because, it's something that again, just one guy, if just one more person, like John C. Maxwell talks about in leadership, like if one more person can just live that life that you've designed, and desire to have, to raise the standard, raise the bar, and you're already doing that, Alex. Like it's so motivating and so encouraging, because even if it's just one more person that gets it, it's worth doing, even though how much crap is out there in the world or whatever. It's just encouraging seeing that you're actually, getting off your ass and doing something about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So you have a daughter, man? You have a daughter?
No.
And no?
So in my vision journal, yeah, I do have a daughter. Her name is Sophia. I had 2 of them. One was named Charlie, and one was named Sophia. And Charlie is now my dog, my golden doodle, and my daughter that I do not have yet is actually, her name is Sophia.
Cool. I want to come back to that, to the
Sure.
vision journal. So are you married?
Not yet, but it's funny, Alex. As of today, I'm about to go engage I just got permission from my girlfriend, soon to be fiance's parents last night. And I'm actually going to be proposing tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah, tonight.
Cool. Where, how is that going to happen?
So we're going out for my brother-in-law's birthday. We're going to Hell's Kitchen. We're here in Vegas, and we're going to a show after. And we planned it out that I'm going to propose to her. She doesn't know it's coming. So it's pretty awesome.
Cool, man. All righty. So so before I talk about your vision journal, that's what you call it, right?
Yeah.
And then I also want to bring in, when we talk about the vision journal, that little airplane that you have, behind you.
Yeah.
I bet that's part of your vision, right?
Yeah.
But man, I just want to say that you are the definition of what I call a modern gentleman, right? I talked about like the specific order that you got to work on your freedoms, right? The specific order that you got to go about your freedoms, physical freedom, right? You obviously know how to take care of yourself. And I've seen a couple of, not a couple of your videos, a lot of your content, and the definition of loving yourself, right? And putting yourself first. Emotional freedom. You wouldn't be where you are today if you didn't know something about self-mastery, right? And then financial freedom, right? You're killing it in business. And now you're going for that 4th one to complete your freedom and have it all, which is being a husband, and then in the future being the father of Sophia. So man, how, like, who led you, or like how did you do it? Like, because not many men are, have the privilege to say, that they are a modern gentleman, or that they have done things well, in the right order.
I appreciate that. I mean, there's a lot of men in my life that I've looked up to. I got to give the credit to my dad. My dad, here's the thing that I say, dude, is that most people, they want to complain about what their past was. And the moment that a guy named Henry and a guy named Mick, that are dudes that are in my church, that have poured and gave their time and money to pour into me, they both have told me and mentored me to say that, the moment you start taking responsibility for your past and stop blaming what you've done, and just to move forward and learn from it, and realize that it's not just, oh, well, I learned what not to do from my parents. Like, oh, my parents did this, I'll never do that. It's like the whole parenting thing. Oh, well, my parents did this, I'll never do that kind of concept. No, I learned what to do and what not to do from my dad. My dad right now is on his third marriage, dude. Like, it is an absolute standard that I will be married once and at all costs. Even if my wife cheats on me, dude, like, I am absolutely gonna make sure that I forgive her and then we work through it, dude. I'm gonna take full responsibility for it and I'm gonna work through that, dude. Like, and most people are like, oh, like, that's petty, like, cut the girl off like they're some sort of a cattle. It's like, dude, like, they're an individual, they're a person, they're a child of God, they're a daughter of God. And first of all, if you don't think that women are valuable, then you probably shouldn't be, out there, with your wife, or you gotta understand that you're gonna have a daughter, or if you have daughters. Like, anyways, yeah. So my dad, I gotta give my dad credit. I learned what to do and what not to do from my dad. He tried his very best, man. He really did. I got to give him the credit for that. He really tried to instill in us things over and over and over again. And I tell that now to fathers that I'm like mentors of mine. For instance, I'm with one of my mentors the other day, and I'm trying to tell him, like, hey, at the end of the day, your daughter, who now goes to USC, she's going to remember 3 or 4 things, brother. So just dial in, get very clear on what those 3 or 4 things you want her to remember, and everything else is going to be a filler, man. Everything's going to be a filler. Yeah. Just figure out how to communicate, negotiate, and navigate those 3 or 4 things that you want her to always remember. And she will absolutely remember this rest of her life. And, if you can do that well, then, you'll be a proud father. So
that's amazing, man. So I actually just had a podcast earlier today, and the main concept that we talked about was intentionality, being intentional, and how that makes all the difference, man. Correct. And just to go back to, like, well, props to your dad, man. Congrats on having an amazing dad, right? Yeah. I'm also grateful about mine, right? Because he taught me also what not to do, right? More of what not to do. But then he was able to, like, turn his life around and be like, holy shit, I fucked up my life, and learn from it, and then teach me, right? Which is what I'm doing right now. So, man, props to your dad. Congrats on that. And I just want to go back to the taking responsibility, and then, like, you setting the standard and having one marriage, and, like, even if your girl cheats on you, you're gonna, like, fix things, and that's part of taking responsibility. Because if your girl cheats on you, it's probably your fault, right? 100%. And, like, a lot of people think that marriages are broken because of cheating. But, like, the cheating isn't the problem. The cheating is just, like, the symptom of problems that have been going on for months, if not years, right?
Exactly.
And so, like, you gotta take responsibility and own that it's probably your fault that your wife, went out there and looked for someone else that could fulfill her needs. And then another thing, like what you said, like, some people are gonna say, just leave her, right? That's ego and fear, and you're like the natural fear of not feeling good enough that drives those people to say that. But in reality, you got to take responsibility, own that it's probably your fault, and fix it. So amazing insights. Yeah. I just wanted to, like, expand a little bit more on that, man. So, man, let's see, what does living a life on purpose for purpose mean? Because I'm all about purpose, man, and I love that. Yeah. Right? I was fortunate to find my purpose at a young age, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, Alex, the tagline, on live a life on purpose for purpose. basically is this, dude, is that, I wanted to live my life on a day-to-day basis, no matter what we do. First of all, no matter what you do, you're doing something. There's a cause and effect, whether it's positive or negative, positive consequences or negative consequences. There's always something there that whether you're eating, chips and, can't figure out why you're freaking, you're not very sharp at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. There's always a positive and negative to everything that you're doing. So I knew that my history is going back, into high school. I was using a lot of drugs because I didn't have a purpose. My purpose was originally taken away from me when I got hurt my sophomore year. And I couldn't play baseball at that time. I was supposed to be, a sophomore playing varsity with my brother. That was my goal. I worked really, really hard to get there. I got hurt, injured, had to stay down on junior varsity. And, from there it was, I thought I was going to go pro. Now at the time, I really did. I really thought I thought I had the ability to get to the pros, if you think about it, if you don't think that, you're probably not in the right sport. Like if you're like, oh, I'm going to just kind of stop. I'm going to kind of just get C's in school. It's like, no, like I thought I was going to go to school, get straight A's and get to the pros and be a ball player. Like it wasn't about the money. I knew that like eventually we were going to have money, but like I wanted to go play professional ball. And when that was taken away from me originally, I didn't have a purpose. I started searching for that and, through parties, and started to want to find people that wanted to be around me. And in high school, I was like the outcast, even though I was in the in crowd and people wanted to be around me. We threw big parties and, I was a popular kid. I was in football, baseball, wrestling, and theater, did dance shows. Like, I was all over the place. Like people wanted to be around Mikey Lucas, but I didn't really know why they wanted to be around me. And come to find out it was because, I was like, I guess I threw parties, whatever. So people wanted to be around me because of that. And then it was, I got, at first I started doing drugs socially and then started doing drugs solutionally. Started finding out like, hey, like my back pain in football can be mitigated through taking Loratabs, which turned into Oxycontin, which turned into 600 milligrams of Oxycontin a day for years and years and years, should be dead by now, to wanting to take, Xanax because I wanted to forget my past. My parents broke up. I want to get too gruesome into this, but, my parents broke up in my senior year. And, I just was, dude, there wasn't a purpose. I thought of all families, my parents were going to stay together. And I thought there was no meaning for life. I was like, well, if my parents can't stay together, then there's really no meaning for life. And then it is just this, going out, hooking up with girls and, maybe hopefully don't get one pregnant and, kind of just, I don't know, have many, girls and have many, baby mamas and whatever. So I wanted to be able to live a life that was purposeful, that was purposefully driven and live a life on purpose. Like stop living like, oh, well, I just go and do this or do that. Like I wanted to say, hey, look, I'm here because I want to be here. I'm here at the gym because I want to be at the gym. I'm knocking on doors selling solar panels because I want to knock on doors and sell solar panels. I don't want to be working at the restaurants because like it's just a means to an end. Like what kind of a life is exciting and inspiring when you're just kind of doing it? And I hear that all the time. And it's scary when I talk to people. I'm like, what's on the next 5 years for you, bro? Like, where are you at? What are you doing? What are you excited about? What's exciting for you the next couple of years? Like, oh yeah, I'm going to get my house. And it's like, dude, you've been saying you're going to get a house for like 4 years now. Like, where are you at? Like, this, the whole, like, there's no clarity. And I turned to drugs to try to do that and try to find what that looks like a lot of people do. And, I definitely don't wish anybody that ever just tries drugs. They think, oh, well, it's just once or twice. Like, no, dude, it's never once or twice. You end up turning to that or turning to the bottle to try to mitigate your pain and put your pain away in the struggle. Like you need to deal with that. A real man can deal with it and can handle stress and move forward. So living a life on purpose, for purpose, means to me simply that I live on a day-to-day basis, actually working towards ending up at the best version of what Mikey Lucas is going to be, so that I can actually give back to my community, my family, my country, and the world. So that's where I'm at. I also got it from a book called Purpose Driven Life. And that book changed my life in 2012 when I became a Christian and started following God at that point. And, that book I've read now 9 times. It is a phenomenal book. If you never read it, it just helped give me clarity and it slowed me down and gave me a reset. So that's what that means to me.
Cool, man. Man, thank you very much for sharing that. That's a powerful, powerful story. There's a lot of things that, you know, we can we can jump into and talk about, you know, by dissecting everything that you just said. But man, I wanna know, how did you get out of, you know, like using drugs?
Um, so
Most
I
people can't, and most
yeah,
people never will.
I know. Well, I always, so I was told, and I believe this is very important, especially with younger, with us as, you know, older men, how we talk to our nieces, our nephews, you know, younger people. You know, I really believe in showing people what they are. So like, hey man, like you're really good at like, you know, being, you know, genuine and kind to your friends, like, you know, talking good about who they are and pulling out the good out of them rather than trying to just always discipline people. So I was always told growing up, like, you know, Mikey, you're gonna, you know, you're such a great leader. And I was never put into leadership positions. So I was like, well, if everyone's saying I'm a leader, but I'm not in a leadership position, that means I'm not a leader, right? If they said, hey, look, I'm, you know, I belong in movies because I can act. Well, you know, I never made in any star roles at a show. I was just an extra. I'm nobody. I'm not anything special. So how did I make it out of drugs and alcohol? One, I didn't go to rehab. I didn't do a 12-step program. Nothing against 12-step programs. They're great for a lot of people. I did a 1-step program. I gave my life to Christ. I turned away from my old, and I said, you know what, God, if you're real, I need you to do this, because there is no, I don't have time for a 12-step program. I'm going to freaking kill myself because I can't get out of this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired. I need new life, and I knew it now. And thank God he stepped in. I should be in prison right now because I was already on strike 2. And I did the whole blue light prayer, right? Like you see the cops, you get pulled over. I've got more than an ounce of marijuana in the car, and I've got pills in the car. Living in San Diego, trying to get clean. Mind you, I've got drugs in my car. And, you know, I was drinking a little bit too. And yeah, the whole 9 yards, I had everything. I was like, God, if you get me out of this, I swear on everything, I'll done. And thankfully, the cop couldn't figure out how to put my license plate in because I had a Vegas license plate and I was in San Diego State at the campus, and he ended up getting a call or something like that. He had to leave.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, like I was already on strike 2, bro. I should have everything. I was seeking a minimum of 8 at that time. If I mess up again the third time, I was going to get the full 8 no matter what, probably 8 to 15 or 8 to 12, whatever it was. And at that time I was like, dude, all right, Nike, I got to figure out who this God thing is and figure it out. And dude, from there, just things started falling in place. And I got opened up to like, okay, like what is God? Like not this foofy, fluffy bull crap. Like, you know, one of my boys says, you know, we're saved. We're not soft. Like people think that, oh, you follow God, you're like, you know, like, you're like soft. Like, no, dude, like, I'll still kick some ass, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, Jesus was not a doormat. Jesus like flipped tables and was pissed off at, you know, the religious people, right? Like, I'm not religious at all. I've got a relationship with God, the creator, dude. Like, but yeah, dude. So you know, glory to God, dude. I became a Christian at that time, and, you know, God actually worked through it with me. Now it wasn't overnight, but it was a process of becoming somebody of value, and him showing me through visions and signs and actually dreams, which I know a lot of people don't get those, but like I did. And he showed me what the potential of and the value that he was going to bring me through. And then he just protected me, man. He protected me. He closed many doors that could have been open. Like an ex-girlfriend tried coming back in my life in 2012. 2 ex-girlfriends tried coming back in my life in 2012. Thank God, both of those doors, he shut those doors on me. And dude, I just was like, instead of being like, you know, bitter of like, oh, well, I don't have this. I was just like, dude, I'm going to start from the bottom. Like if I got to go back from making 8, 9, 10 grand a week selling drugs, using and doing drugs, to making $12 an hour, $8 an hour washing dishes, I'll do that. And that's exactly what I did. I moved home, I started washing dishes, and I was just like, dude, like I have to figure out how to be a person of value and figure out who Mikey Lucas actually is versus trying to go out and make a buck. Because dude, like it's like they're like you've heard those you know, when people win the lottery, it's like 87% of them are bankrupt within 5 years. It's like, okay, like I don't need money. I need to be somebody that can handle money. And I don't know how to handle money because I never had money. So it's like, I needed to become a person that could have those things. And I wanted to become a person that could be a husband, become a person that could be a brother, become a person that could be a son to a single mother, right? Like be a brother that could be, you know, an example to my sister, which is one of the biggest reasons why I do what I do every single day, is for her sake, you know? So yeah, I didn't go to 12-step program. I did a 1-step. I gave my life to Christ, and here I am today. And you know, I speak at rehabs. You know, I'm heavily invested into multiple drug rehabilitation centers. It's a really big thing for me, and anybody that has an issue with drugs. Let me just tell you this really quick, if you're listening, is that you can make it. And the moment you stop doing it for you and you start doing it for the people that are around you, and helping those people think that they can actually have the ability to get sober, is when you can actually break through the barrier. Because eventually, you know, a year in, 2 years in, you're going to say, what's a drink? What's a drink going to do for me? What's a pill going to do for me? What's a hit going to do for me? Like, it's not going to hurt me that bad. When I stopped doing it for me, and I started doing it from the families that lost their sons and daughters to this drug and alcohol thing, I started doing it for them to give them hope that there is something out here that we can make it right for the next generation. So I stopped doing it for me. I started doing it for them.
Cool, man. That's something really important, right? So, I'm actually working with a client who says that he doesn't feel inspired, right? What I told him is that it's because he's being too selfish, right? He's just thinking about him. So like just what you said, you stop trying to quit drugs. You stop trying to like not be a drug addict and alcoholic, not for you, but for the people who lost their you know, the people that they loved due to drugs and due to alcohol. So like that gives it more meaning. That gives it another level. That gives it another layer, right? So if you want to get inspired, stop doing things for yourself and give yourself a mission to do things for other people, right? To like give yourself a mission, do things for service. So I love that, man. And another thing that really jumped out is that you chose God, right? So like, were you raised, you know, like with God and like that kind of stuff, or
Yeah, the short version of it is my parents, you know, my mom and dad grew up Catholic. We went to church here and there. I had a little bit of exposure to God, you know, in going to church growing up. Yes, we did. Was it serious? No. Did we read the Bible as a family? No. We prayed every once in a while. It was more like ritualistic kind of going to church. And then, you know, the moment we went to church, the time we would go to church, my dad would be yelling at my mom, you know, or my mom would be yelling at my dad or whatever. And I was like, this is weird. I don't know what this is. I thought we were supposed to be happy. I thought church was supposed to be fun. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Cool, man. Yeah. So you chose it, right? And like you were raised in a Catholic family, but then you chose to become, you know, like Christian. So like you're choosing your path. I really like that because that's the same thing that I'm doing. You know, my family say that they are Catholic, but I'm choosing to be Christian. For some reason, I'm choosing to be and like study the Bible, and you know, I'm getting into that as well for the last couple of years. So, man, I want to ask about something that I read in your bio, which is that you were a top producer in like all sales environments. So like you have sold solar, you've sold alarms, and you've sold, you know, D2D, you know, in various industries, and on all of them, you've been top producer. But before I ask about that, I want to go back to like when you lost your purpose, right? And to talk about clarity and to talk about like being soft, right? You mentioned right now that a lot of people think that men who, you know, like believe in God and worship God are like soft, right? And then I want to also talk about clarity, and I want to talk about you know, like when you lost your purpose, and I want to wrap it all up. So on my take, right? So man, when you don't have a purpose, right? You had this purpose, you had this thing that gave you drive, that made you feel significant, and then you lost it, and then you started to do drugs and alcohol, and you know, you became the party animal to get that significance back, to get that feeling of significance back, to get that approval, that acceptance, that validation, right? Because you were trying to fill the void that you felt inside for something that you craved, which was purpose, right? Which was to live a life on purpose, for purpose, which you didn't have, right? And the only reason that you didn't have was because of lack of clarity of like who you were, what you wanted, and like deciding where you were going, right? And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is about being soft, man. So a lot of people, you know, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this, that that kindness, a lot of people think that kindness is weakness, but in reality, kindness is like power, right? Like anyone could be an asshole, and anyone could do drugs and drink alcohol and like and be a shithead, right? It's what's hard, what takes work is to be respectful, humble, wise, loving, caring, intentional, right? And be clear. And I just wanted to like talk about those things. So if you want, you can like tell me your take on that, and then we can jump to talk about like you being the top producer in various sales environments.
Sure. Yeah, dude. I mean, the main thing really is just at the end of the day is you have to decide what you're going to be remembered as. Like your legacy, people are going to remember you one way or another. I just didn't want people to lie about me at my funeral. I didn't know. I've lost now 19 friends and family in the last 12 years from drug overdose, from drinking and driving, and from suicide. And, at some of those funerals, I've seen them absolutely lying. And I'm just going to give you a fake name. I don't have a friend named Johnny that died, but little Johnny was such a good little boy, and he loved people, and he loved his family. And at the end of the day, Johnny was an asshole, and he was a selfish prick. But I just didn't want people to lie about me at my funeral. I didn't know. I didn't know if I was going to die when 5 years and 2 years and 1 year. I had a mortality motivation is what they call it. I knew I could die at any moment. And that wasn't a scarcity thing of like, I chose God because I thought I was going to die and go to hell. And I wasn't afraid of that. I knew that life could happen. And, every time you get behind the wheel or, anything, stuff could happen. So I didn't want people to lie about me at my funeral. And at the end of the day, my legacy, how I made people feel was the most important thing to me.
That's powerful, man. Do you, by any chance, have you taken the time to write out your obituary?
Yes, I have.
Do you have it like handy or no?
Not right now. No, I can find it, but I don't have it personally right now here. I had to write it actually when I went overseas on some mission trips. So I had to write an obituary out.
Cool, because I have mine, and it's a pretty powerful thing to have, right? And to take the time to be intentional about writing, right? So yeah, pretty cool, man. So now, yeah, man, let's talk about sales, and let's talk about like making money and how,
awesome.
Like, why is it that you have been able to be top producer in several sales environments, from solar, alarms, and I don't know what else.
Yeah, so solar, roofing, alarms, and real estate. Some of the main things that I'm about, no matter what I was selling, was I was about the end client and the experience with the client, because I knew that if I could get a client to refer me to somebody, that would then inherently double my production. So I knew that if I could just set up 20 accounts at first and then get one referral from each 20 of those accounts in 1 month, I just doubled, or the next month rather. Let's just say those referrals closed the next month. I just already doubled what I had already done by just showing up to work the first time. So I was trying to double dip, if you will, and get a referral base program, like through network marketing is what I learned that through. I sold some network marketing at an early age, and multi-level marketing companies at an early age. And I realized that if I was more about the other person and more interested in the other person at the table, that they would want to buy from me. People want to buy from people that they're alike. And I don't do that, in a facetious way or whatever, that's however you say that, like in a way that I just want to get the money for it. Like if I could give somebody the service for free and pay for it, I would. And guess what, Alex? I have paid for somebody's service multiple times because they needed it and they couldn't actually buy it. So at the end of the day, I was about the end customer and the experience of the customer. And then systems and processes, bro. Like, it's so wild. Like, I've consulted over like 154 companies now, and there's just processes there. It's all about like how much money the sales rep is kind of coming in and make. And like, I'm all for everybody making money. Like I'm okay with that. I'm a capitalist, right? Like I agree with people trying to go out and make money, to make the world a better place and give back. But at the end of the day, like, if we make it only about money, Alex, we're not going to take care of the customer. I believe the Bible says that the worker deserves his wages. So I'm okay with, and I'm unapologetically going to be a billionaire, because unapologetically being a billionaire means I get now more money to give away and to invest in things that are going to be world-changing items like clean water, clean food, shelter, electricity, things like that can, and even technology in certain cases that can help the world become a better place, and to help individuals live a more honorable and purpose-driven lifestyle. And the main thing there is an honorable life. People, when they don't live an honorable life, it's hard. As Americans, we think we can just throw money at a country, like anywhere, Thailand, Djibouti, Ethiopia. We can just throw money at them, give them a well, and we're good. It's like, no, they want to create businesses. They want to live an honorable life. But yeah, I live a life. I live a purpose-driven life, but then I also have my mentor Cole Hatter taught me how to live, how to transition my company from a for-profit company to a for-purpose company. Meaning every dollar we make, we take a portion of it and we donate it. And I don't even really say donating, because donating has kind of like a negative connotation toward it. Because if you talk to certain people, if you go on the internet and you just Google like, how much does Samaritan's Purse actually give, of the money that they make. And it's like, it's pretty scandalous. Like there's a lot of people that in charities, they're taking a lot of the money. They only have to give it's like some very small number, like less than 25% of the money that actually is given to them to the actual cause that they're stating that they're doing it for. So charity and donations is like, it has a bad negative connotation towards it. So I call it investing into things. Like I don't give to my church, I invest in my church because I believe in the cause. I don't give to, Operation Underground Railroad. I invest in Operation Underground Railroad because I believe in it. I don't donate to Model Citizens Fund, Dan Fleischman's charity. I invest in Model Citizens Fund because I believe in the purpose behind it. I don't give to Give Power. I invest in Give Power because I believe in these specific charities. So, as far as, actually becoming a top producing sales rep, I sucked, bro. Like I was not a hitter right off the bat. Like I absolutely sucked. But I just so happened to be in an office that was the number one office, the number one solar company. And if you were not a hitter, like you were fired. And hitting is contagious, bro. So, take the Atlanta Braves. They just won the World Series. Like they have, I think, 4 players that hit over 300. Like that is, like they were bound. I saw that when they played San Diego. I'm a Padres fan, and I saw them play in San Diego, and I was like, oh my God, these guys they got 4 players on their team that are all hitting over 300. Some of them were hitting over 350. And I'm like, hitting is contagious. So I just so happened to be around a awesome group of people that were not only top sales guys at the number one solar company, but also they were family men. And I'm like, this is it. I'm like, I can do both. See, I told you. I'm like, Mikey, I told you so, bro. You can be a top sales guy and have a family and be a dad. Some of these guys had 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. And I was like, dude, they're top sales guys. So I just so happen to be around other hitters. And I also, something you'll hear me say a lot is that I'm not better than anybody else. I just do what they told me to do. Like if they told me to go out and knock on 80 doors a day, I wouldn't be like, oh, it's hot today, or oh, it's raining today, or oh, I'm getting eaten up by mosquitoes. I would figure out how to get the freaking mosquitoes off me, and cool down or whatever. And I would strategize on how to be better and not complain about, oh, well, there's got to be another way to do this better, faster, and stronger. It's like, no, like I don't know crap. Teach me what to do. I'll do it. If it doesn't work after 2, 3, 4 weeks of me trying it, it's got to be me. Like if you catch the ball like this, you catch the ball like this, right? There's no better way to catch the ball. Like, you're not going to catch it under your legs. Like if you catch the ball like this going out, otherwise you're going to get smacked, by the middle linebacker. So, it's like, I'm not better than anybody else. I just show up. 10% more than anybody else. And over 10 years, I just have gotten good at what I do, man. Like I just care. I know that everything I do has a positive and negative consequence. And then I freaking inspire people to get their head out of their ass and live life for somebody else. Right. I get people, I'm great at inspiring other salespeople to freaking live a life that is actually giving back to their hometown, where in their home country, giving their parents a return on their investment. I'm great at doing that. I'm great at building culture around that, which is apparently it's not happening anymore. It's all about, oh, follow me for $1 more an hour. You're like, really? And then somebody else is going to come around and give them $1 more an hour, and they're going to leave you too. It's like, I live to inspire people and help them be excited about their future and give them clarity on how to actually be a great top salesman that takes care of people, and then actually gets referrals. My personal business is 52.6% referral. So it's like, you don't do that. You don't get referrals by screwing people over. You get referrals by answering your freaking phone. And if you're too busy to answer your phone, you need to pay somebody to answer your phone for you. It's that simple. You can't rely on your solar company, your real estate company to do that. You need to hire a team under your organization, your personal business, even if you're under another team, your personal brand. Okay. The Mikey Lucas brand has assistants and people to answer his calls, because otherwise, I can't go out and sell more deals or whatever. Right. So just, I knew that delegating and hiring more people would help take the load off of my plate. And then I could, give the service that when I would tell a husband and a wife across the table or whatever whoever they were, like I told them I would answer their phone. I still get, for instance, I was on the plane ride home the other day. One of my clients said, hey, look, 5 of my light bulbs are out. Can you send me more light bulbs? And like, it's the dude bought solar for me like 7 years ago. And I'm like, are they dimmable? And do you want the soft white or the daylight ones? He's like, oh, they're not the bright white ones. Get the more yellow ones. And yes, they're dimmable. I said, okay, cool. Let me take a look at it. 2 days later, Amazon, boom, boom. The guy's got lights. He sent me these guys like new lights in his house. Like, just take care of your clients, bro. Like, do what you say you're going to do. And if you can't handle it, you need to hire people to do that.
Cool, man. Awesome. That was incredibly valuable. So let me just, get just for the audience, right? For people that, just like a summary, right? So basically, to be a top producer on any like sales industry, you got to focus on the clients and focus on service, focus on delivering, right? Delivering and delivering on your promises and doing what you say you're going to be doing, systems and processes, right? So if you do something that works, well, systemize that, right? And record the process so that you're able to teach it to someone else, so that then you're able to replicate it and delegate, right? And hire people to help you, right? And have leverage. Change your mindset from for profit to for purpose, right? So instead of just focusing on money, give yourself a purpose and like give and then give more. Hey, sorry for the interruption. I just wanted to tell you that this podcast has completely changed my life in ways that you could never imagine, and I would like the same for you. Look, you are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, and the fastest way for you to level yourself up in every area of your life is for you to connect with people who are where you want to be, build relationships with them, and connect with them. The best way for you to do that right now in the digital age is for you to start your own podcast. And I just wanted to let you know that I have a free training that you can get free access to. It's called the 30-day Net Worth Skyrocketing 3-step podcast cloak track framework. And it's going to show you how you can start and automate everything in your podcast, from finding your ideal guest, getting them on an interview with you, and creating an automated content machine in just 30 days. By executing on this free training, you're going to be able to connect with high-level people, no matter how rich, famous, or out of your league they may seem, in just 30 days with less than 1 to 2 hours per week, so that you can increase your net worth, your authority, your trust, your client acquisition ability, and your opportunity. So there's a special link for this free training in the description of this video. Thank you for watching and tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of this episode. Bye-bye. Right? And then surround yourself with high-level people, right? Because you're the average of the people you surround yourself with. And like you said, it gets what was that word that you used? That
hitter is contagious.
Yeah. Mediocrity is contagious as well, right? So like, you decide whether you want to surround yourself with mediocre people or people that are winning, right? So because either or, they're contagious, right? So surround yourself with high-level people, build a network of people who help you level up, who inspire you, who motivate you to want to be more and do more and have more. Right. Be coachable, right? So I really like that attitude of I don't know crap, teach me, right? That's literally how I've been living my life for the last 3 years, man. I'm like, I don't know how to be a husband and a father. Here, take some money, teach me, right? I don't know how like to run a business. I don't know how to sell. I don't know anything, right? Here's some money, teach me, right? So that's how I've been living my life for the last 3 years. I don't know shit, man. Teach me, right? So that's the attitude that I've had. Yeah, and that's wisdom, right? When someone can accept that they don't know nothing, that they don't even know what they don't know, and they're willing to ask for help, that's wisdom, and that's when you allow yourself to grow. And the last one is show up. Right. So that's what I got. Right. And we got a couple of minutes, and I want to make sure that I can ask you the 5 questions that I ask all of my guests at the end of the interview. Before I do that, man, I want to ask you about Everbowl. Jeff Fenster is actually going to be on my podcast.
Yeah.
But like I've seen a couple of stories with like, like you eating Everbowl and like, yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got introduced to Everbowl through my mentor Cole Hatter, and we got the ability to invest in it. And Dan Fleischman, I'm not sure if you know Dan Fleischman or not, but basically we got the ability to invest in a jockey, and that jockey was Jeff. Jeff had this no matter what happens, I'm going to make this company work mindset, which just goes to show that if you're going to invest in anybody or any company or put money into it, understand if that person says, oh, well, let's just say, this one office is falling apart. If they're not on the earliest flight to get out there, you should not invest in that person or in that company. I invested in Jeff. I invested in Dan Fleischman. I invested in Cole Hatter because I believe in Everbowl. I also like the product too. I really enjoy, and again, the physiology of eating great solid superfoods is very important to me. And that's another thing. I didn't just make it because I wanted to make money. Yes, it's profitable. Yes, it's a great return, but I did it because I actually believe in it. I believe in it. Yeah. There's been tons of opportunities come across my desk, 3 or 4 a day, if not more than that. And it's just a lot of them. I can't stand behind, man. I just can't stand behind. So I can stand behind Everbowl.
Nice, man. And so you own a place? You own a location?
I've got 23 right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
So 23 you got?
23
Everbowls?
Yeah, Everbowl locations. Yeah. From San Francisco to Arizona to San Diego. Yep.
Holy shit, that's leverage right there, man.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I didn't know that.
We plan on doing more in Houston or Texas rather, and in Florida as well.
I'm still blown away. I wasn't expecting for you to tell me I got 23 Everbowl locations. Cool. Then Jeff Fenster and you are pretty close, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean we're at a distance, but I like who he is, and I follow him, and obviously he knows who I am, so like that. But yeah, we're not like best friends by any means, but we're acquaintances through our mastermind groups.
Awesome, man. Awesome. That's really cool. Right. So and like, oh man, I'm so fucking excited. See, like there's this network of people who all know each other. Cole Hatter is also going to be on my podcast. Jeff Fenster is going to be on my podcast. He already scheduled it. You are on my podcast. And there's this network of people who are all connected, right? They're all the definition of where I want to be like in 10, 20 years from now. Yep. But, and I'm connecting with all of them, right? Which is going to allow me to get there in the next 2-5 years instead of 10 or 20.
Yeah, not 10 or 20, bro. It's going to be a 2 to 5 thing.
Yeah, I'm so excited, man. I'm excited. So, all righty, man. So, man, do you have to cut this in like the next 4 minutes?
No, you're good. I have dinner at 8 and a proposal at 9, so we're good.
Cool, awesome, man.
I'm good.
Awesome. So I have 5 questions for you, man. And the first one is, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you could? So like not change anything, not like, oh, no, like not changing anything. Just like, what advice would you give your 20-year-old self if you could?
It's actually a quote that I have sitting right here, right next to my camera. It's a quote from Ed Milet. It says that this is so worth it. This is so worth it. I have been through, dude, muck and mire, dude. I have been through some dark times, man. And, it is a lot of times where I thought it wasn't going to be worth it, bro. And Alex, I will tell you this, dude, that it's all worth it. It's all worth it, man. Like at the end of the day, getting screwed over, getting backstabbed, getting companies stolen from me, like, it's not getting paid out on certain jobs, people lying, people talking shit on me, like, oh, Mikey's this, Mikey's that. It's like the people that are closest to me, I give them the ability to check me. And on a day-to-day basis, man, I look in the mirror and I got to make sure that I am who I say I am behind closed doors, behind this computer, and out there on the streets. and I do. So little Mikey, 20-year-old Mikey, you know this, brother. It's worth it. Just keep on moving forward. One foot in front of the other one.
Awesome. It's worth it. Embrace the process. Cool. I also like about you make sure every single day you look in the mirror and you make sure that you're showing up and that you're being who you say you want to be, right? So I have this analogy. Like a lot of people ask about confidence, right? And like the number one way you get confidence is by keeping your word to yourself, by doing what you say you're going to be doing. And imagine this. Imagine that a camera is following you everywhere. A camera, right? Like a camera is following you everywhere, recording every single thought, every single action, every single emotion, every single, like everything, man, recording it, and it's following you, right? And like that movie is going to be shown to your kids, to everyone, right? How would you act? Right. And the thing here is that the interesting here is that that camera is your subconscious, right? So like your subconscious mind is recording everything. So if you're acting like an asshole, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's a joke, right? So like if you're acting like an asshole and your subconscious mind is going to see you as an asshole, and then you're going to see yourself as an asshole, and you're going to act like an asshole, right? Because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real or what's not, what's a fact or what's a joke. That's why affirmations and that's why visualization, that's why they work, as well as negative self-talk and all the negative things, they also work.
Correct.
Right? Because your subconscious doesn't know the difference. So
Correct.
I really like that, man. Cool. The second question is mindset. What is one mindset shift, man, that you can share with us right now that has allowed you to get to where you are right now, to have the success that you've had?
There's two of them. So I'll say that there's two of them. So the first one is around mindset is that, okay, the first one is this. Look, if you can change the process of how you talk to yourself, so that the process of self-mastery and self-discovery, change the what if this office turns out to be the worst thing ever? What if this one rep doesn't, what if this one rep ruins they always say one bad apple spoils the whole batch. I think that's absolutely bullshit. That apple can be fucking thrown out and the other one can be, cut and mended and be fine. I don't believe one bad apple screws the whole batch. I understand long-term, whatever, through biology and or whatever it's called, it could happen. But I changed my thought process from what if this thing doesn't work out? What if this girl doesn't work out? What if, for instance, what if this girl cheats on me? To what if this could be the best thing that ever happened to me? What if this investment was the best thing that ever happened to me? And that was where my mindset was. So I changed from what if negative to what if positive. And it's on my board in my bathroom. And there's a couple lists there that's, hey, what if bad? And then there's an arrow that says into the good part about it. What if this thing doesn't work out? To what if this actually was the best thing that ever happened to me? Or what if this doesn't work out? To what if this was, what if this was the best, the right investment that made, this sort of an impact, whatever. And then the second one is self-love, dude. Like around mental, you got to stop thinking about what other people think about you and just like who you are now. Understand that it's progress over perfection. And dude, like the more we are our biggest critic. Everyone talks about that, but people don't actually like think about that, man. Like you have to love who you are and not what other people think of who you are, because if you could clean up 5-6 years worth of shit you've done in a matter of you acting straight and on point for 5 or 6 months. So people can see a new you if they see that you're actually genuinely trying to be better. It's like you being in the gym. You're not going to get freaking lose 20 pounds overnight. It's going to take you 5 or 6 months. And guess what? No longer do people see you as fat Mikey. They see you as in shape Mikey. You know what I mean? So it's the same kind of concept. Love who you are.
Amazing, man. So basically perspective, right?
Yeah.
You can choose how to see things either as a blessing or as a curse, right?
Correct.
And self-love. I just love that, man. And I just want to take a second to help someone that is going to be listening to unplug themselves from the matrix, right? You talked about self-love and how you got to stop caring about what people think about you. And like the number one opinion that you should care about is the opinion that you have of yourself. And we're living in a movie, right? Like everyone has their own movie. You have your own movie, and you are the protagonist of your movie, right? I'm the protagonist of my movie, and everyone else is like the protagonist in their movie. And like everyone else are like extra people, or like like people that like they're not the main characters. And everyone in their movie, that they're like the main character in their movie, and they think about what other people in their movie are thinking, right? And they're too worried about what other people are thinking about them, right? And like that's how everyone is, right? So like people in your movie, and like people are living in their own movie, too worried about what other people are thinking about them to even think about you. So like a lot of people will hold themselves back is the opinion of others, right? Goop, the good opinion of others, right? And they're swimming in goop, and they hold themselves back because of what other people might think, without realizing that first of all, they don't even care about them. And if they and if they are thinking about something, they're thinking about what you're thinking of them. Right. And once you are able to understand this concept, like you unplug yourself from the matrix, and you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly.
So yeah, man. Cool. The next question is mindset map clarity, man. So we talked a little bit about clarity. So like, what do you do with your life? Do you have a strategy, a tactic, a tool? Like, what do you do to remain clear in your life around who you are, what you want, where you're going, and all of that good stuff?
So a couple of my mentors have talked about having an I Am Grateful album, an I Did It album, and a vision board. So I have all of these things. They're on my phone. They say, you pick up your phone, there's notifications on your phone, like tens of thousands of notifications a day on your phones. So having on the back of your cell phone to engrave what you want to see. Exactly. See what I'm talking about? Boom. And what you want to see, and having that done is very, 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 very important, right? Have the same thing. So it's very important to do that. And I know that like, it sounds cheesy, but like, how's your life going, man? Like, are you that short fused? Like, are you short fused where somebody cuts you off and you mother F them? Right? Like if you're that short fused, like, is that what, you want to be remembered as? You mother F somebody that's late to work, that might get fired because, they got into a fight with their wife or something like that, or whatever, their fight with their kid that's trying to, kill himself or something, like, what I'm saying? Like you're going to get a short fuse over somebody cutting you off. Like having a system in place for myself. Every single quarter I do this. It's on my calendar. It is scheduled time away. And I do that every single quarter. So the first of every single month. So January, April, July or August, and then October 1st. I always step away for at least 2 to 3 hours, completely unplug, go to a place where either A, there's no service, or B, I just turn everything off. And I sit there and I go back through my notes, and I look back and I say, like, where am I at? Where's my direction? Because my direction determines my destination. Do I like where I'm headed? If I'm not, how the fuck do I get out? And if I can't get out, how do I work with it? I don't want to say deal with it. How do I work with it? Because maybe it's a challenge of me, and maybe it's me that needs to change and not the situation that needs to change. Instead of just being a little shithead and trying to get out of the situation, how do I push through the situation, be molded through, and become a better person on top of that, outside of that, on the other end of this bridge, and walk through it, even if I'm scared, afraid, or whatever, and I don't know what's going on. And then, yeah, there's every single week on Sundays, I always unplug for at least an hour. I usually go to a place here. It's called Red Rock, where there's no service. I unplug, and I have a weekly set apart time where I unplug and I get the fuck away. I get away from everything. I step back and I say, dude, what's like the most, I just start to just let my mind wander. It's like in meditation, it takes you like 20 minutes sometimes to like actually like get into flow or into the state. So then I start to realize what my brain is like worrying about, right? Like if I'm being worrisome, like, why is my brain being worrisome? Is it because of an issue of somebody that's trying to kill himself or is going to die? Or is it over some stupid shit at work? And like, if it's some stupid shit at work, I go, all right, well, how do I hire somebody to do that stupid shit at work to get the job done correctly? If it's somebody that's a person that I say, hey, how can I reach out to this person that's in need, or that's helping, right? That I can help. What can I do to help this person to make sure that I do my part? I don't want to have to live a life of regret and saying I could have called that person one more time before they died or whatever, right? So I do that on a weekly basis and on a quarterly basis. The quarterly basis is a little more intense. I usually have a booklet with me that I go through, my journal that I write notes in. It's also my mastermind journal. So I do that on a quarterly basis, and then on a weekly basis, I do it as well. So I don't take too much time. I don't allow too much time in between those, just because I've noticed that the more that I get more I get more unrest, however you say that. I get more like something's wrong, something's not clicking. The more I don't do that, the longer in distance. And I'm not perfect at it. It's not every single week, but I'll notice like, oh wow, I definitely didn't get my stuff done. So maybe it's not on a Sunday, maybe it's on a Tuesday. I need to unplug on a Tuesday and get out, turn up on a Tuesday. Like I need to get out of this and go turn up for a second with me and myself and my God and get out. So I'm not perfect at it, but I do somewhat better every single year.
Cool, man. I like it. So a system that you use, to like get clear on like where you're going. Well, first of all, you get clear on where you are, where is it that you're going, right? And then you have a system, right? You see it every day, right? Like your vision board and all of that to program your mind, right? To like help you believe that that's something that you deserve. And then the second thing, unplugging and going within, right? So like what you use to gain clarity and to be clear is unplugging every now and then, consistently unplugging and going within to look for answers, instead of a lot of people look for answers on the outside, right? Like they're looking for some validation, approval, or they're looking for the answers outside of them when the answers are inside of them, right? Everything that they're worrying about or whatever, like they can find out what it is if they take the time to like unplug and go within, and then they can not only find out what's wrong, but they can find out how to solve it. So that's very powerful, man. That's something that I do, right, very consistently, right? It's like meditating and unplugging and thinking about like the direction of my life, and questioning whether I like it or not, and if not, well, what should I do? And if yes, well, keep on doing more of what I'm already doing. So mindset, map, motion, man. What is one habit that you have that has contributed to your success?
Any emotions?
Habit. So like so I have this framework, right? Mindset, map, motion, measure, money. If you want money, if you want results across all areas of your life, you got to get those 4 right: mindset, map, motion, measure, money. So we're in motion, so it's a habit. It's like taking action. So what is one habit that you have that has contributed to your success?
The main thing is, as far as motion goes, one, I learned it from Mel Robbins, the 5 4 3 2 1. Actually doing some sort of action, counting myself down. And then the triggers that I've put together is how I go to bed and then how I wake up. So I made sure that everyone says, oh, like, did you win your morning? I'm more of a nighttime routine guy, even though I have a morning routine. Everybody, it's just so you know, whether you like it or not, you have a routine. You do the same thing pretty much every single morning. It might not be written out, but like you said earlier, if I were to follow you around with a camera for a couple of days, I could pretty much tell you exactly what you do on a weekly basis, on a day-to-day basis, on an hourly basis. I could pretty much tell you exactly. And if you were to show me your cell phone, I could show you how much TikTok and Instagram you're doing and exactly what times of the day you're doing it, right? We're pretty consistent beings, most of us. But yeah, my nighttime routine consists of playing specific meditation music to wind down. Instead of going through and listening to Fox News or CNN or whatever, I don't want to feed myself negativity at night. I actually listen to either wave sounds, the river, believe it or not, rain and thunder. I know probably people are like, yeah, that's common, but I go to sleep very well on rain and thunder. And I allow my brain to kind of just float and find out, and relax. Because we're very, it's kind of funny, but we're very, especially as entrepreneurs, we're very high strung and high intensity in the Western world, and very like go. So I think it's very important for me to motion to come down actually at nighttime. And then how I start my day, I usually start my day with the sermon or some sort of like Christian music that's uplifting and powerful, or I'll listen to somebody that is a Christian like Eric Thomas. Like literally for the last probably 3 years now, I've listened to Eric Thomas waking up every single day. Like he's my alarm clock. And then I turn on some sort of Eric Thomas, on Monday I grind, on Tuesday I grind, 120, I'm a beast mode, right? If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, like literally that right when I wake up is the first thing I look at. If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. Or when you're, that. So I look at that every single morning. So it's how I go to bed, I come down, and how I get up. I'm excited. I'm intense. If you're not a morning person, I'm not a morning person, bro. So, but guess what? Like I had to figure out how to utilize my hours and my time. And if it took me 2-3 hours to get going, that's 2-3 hours. Like you were talking about before our call today. You buy yourself 2 months of your year just from driving back and forth to the gym. You bought a gym. Best investment you almost ever made. One of the best investments you made was buying 2 months back of your time because you're freaking spending it driving to the gym back and forth. So I had to buy my time back of figuring out how to wind down properly and how to be present, and then how to wind up properly. So that's what I got.
Wind down without alcohol or pills or whatever people use to wind down, right? Cool, exactly. Man. And another thing, so a lot of people want to change, but they fail to change. And like the key to changing right here, the framework is stop putting the wrong things in, which you mentioned, right? You make sure that you don't watch CNN or constant negative news, right? Or like whatever else. So stop putting the wrong things in. You mentioned that as soon as you wake up, you start listening to like inspiring things, motivational things, right? Start putting the right things in. And then the third step is surround yourself with people who are where you want to be like. So yeah. Awesome, man. The last question is about measuring and tracking. So, you have several companies. So like, what's your take? What can you say? What kind of wisdom can you drop on us when it comes to measuring and tracking, man?
Okay. So Alex, last year in 2021, I can tell you that I tracked 67% of what I did in the 16 hours that I was awake. So I know exactly what I did for 67% of my day. Like that is something that if you don't measure it, you cannot manage it. And I saw that and I was like, if you don't measure it, you can't manage it. If I want to get better, if I want to get more money, if I want to get spiritually stronger, if I want to get, better mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, emotionally, relationally, I have to track this thing. Dude, I started tracking everything. If with my soon-to-be fiance, if I can tell that we are not having a really, really rock solid, awesome week, I go back, I look at my app and I go, how much quality time did I spend with her? How much time on the phone did I spend with her? How much spiritual time did I spend with her? How much time did I spend with family and friends with her? How much time did we just spend hanging out? I track all 5 or 6 of those things, dude. So it's like, it's very important to me that I track and know what I'm doing. If you're going to track it in your business on how many sales you did, how many doors you knocked, how many cold calls you did, and you're not going to track how much time you're spending with your daughter, and you just expect your daughter to not be freaking molded by, communist news network, CNN or Fox or whatever. It's like, if you got to take control of that. And if you're not doing that, if you're not managing, we're all, these businessmen, we're all great, but like, mind you that, you're like, oh yeah, well, my wife doesn't have to go to work now. So, well, guess what, dude? Like your wife probably is on TikTok, Instagram, being influenced by the freaking rest of the world. And, if you come home because you have to provide and you think that that's the biggest thing for you is just provide money because you think your kids want money. They don't want money. They want time with their daddy, right? Like if you're not tracking time with your kids, you're not tracking time with your wife, but you're tracking everything on your business. Like who cares about your business, bro? For me personally, I track how much time I'm spending with my dogs. Why? Because that's a freaking important thing for me. I track how much time I spend with my dogs because it's important to me. Like, I don't want to have to come home and be like, dude, I can't take my dog out because I'm busy or whatever. And it happens a lot. But guess what? My standard is 2 hours every single week. I have my dogs at the park, or I'm going out and walking my dogs, or I'm playing with my dogs in the backyard. It's a freaking standard for mine. And I have to do that. If I don't do that, Alex, like I don't feel like I'm doing the best that I possibly can. So if you're going to track, your people don't need what to track in their business. They know how many sales. And if they don't know how many sales or how many phone calls they got to make a sale, or how many doors they got to knock on to make a sale, like that's business 101. You're probably in the wrong business. I don't got to teach you how to do that. That's easy. You need to track how much time you're spending with your mom and your dad. Like how much time are you, like if it's important to you, how much time am I spending with my nieces and my nephews? I track that stuff. I track how many hours a week I spend on the phone with my mom and on the phone with my dad. Because to me, I don't want to look back and be like, I regret not spending more time with my dad, not spending more time with my mom, not spending more time with my nieces and my nephews. Alex, it's so vitally important that I don't want to live a life of regret. I want to live a life on purpose.
Yeah.
Your people don't need to be taught how to track their fucking numbers, dude. They need to be taught how to track quality time with their wife and their kids and stuff like that. You want to be a great businessman, be a great person in the home, dude. That's why I was so jacked about being on your podcast, because we want to talk about how much fucking money we make. But you know what, dude? Your wife is fucking leaving you because you're an asshole and you're a prick. And you don't even realize that because you're too fucking egotistical and too prideful to even notice that. Sorry, off my soapbox.
No, it's man, I'm glad I asked. So that's why I asked these specific questions, right? I'm
passionate about it, dude. It pisses me off that guys want to be all this cool stuff with the Rolexes and the Ferraris and all this shit, but then they suck at being a dad. Well, what's really important to you? Like, we could obviously tell through your social media what's important to you, buddy. You know, I that's why I respect. There's a guy named Eric. He's a freaking awesome human being. He's got a podcast. I'll introduce you guys. He's every freaking Sunday, he's with his daughter for like 2.5 years now. Post a picture with her having Sunday ice cream, bro. There's so much respect for this man that just like I look up to him. I'm like, dude, I have to do that with my daughter. Like, I got so much mad respect for you that I will give you deals all day long. Like, I will choose to work with you in as a roofing company, as a contractor, as a mentor over anybody else, because I respect you for how you treat your daughter and how you treat your wife. And I get it. Understandably, like, you know, things can happen. I'm not there all the time. Like, you know, his wife might not be the best, or his daughter, whatever, right? Like, in general, all men, right? Like, situations happen. But dude, if you can be a better dad, you know, if you can be a better dad, should you? Right? If you can make more money, should you? Obviously, the answer is yes. If you can give more, should you? If you can love more, should you? The answer is yes, bro. Then why aren't you doing that?
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think you just inspired me to level up my tracking, man. My tracking and my measuring as a husband, as a father, and as a family man. So thank you very much for that, man. And man, I've just loved what you're all about, all the wisdom that you dropped. And I just want to mention that you have incredible value and incredible pieces of content on your social media. So like, if people are like, holy shit, this Mikey Lucas is the real deal, where can they find more of you, man? And I don't know, maybe you can talk a little bit more about what you do, or
Sure.
like where you want to send people.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, so my Instagram at Mikey Lucas, and my YouTube is also Mikey Lucas. My Facebook's Mikey Lucas. You know, website MikeyLucas.com. I do a coaching program, a mentorship program for wealth strategies, and I'm a philanthropist at heart. I give back. I teach people how to live a life on purpose, for purpose, through strategic blueprints to actually help them unscrew their life and actually put it back together. You know, it's a pretty awesome thing that I've been working on for a long time. I got out of solar 2 years ago, and now I've been doing coaching and mentoring for the last 2 years. And right now I have a fund. I'm creating a fund, and I'm investing into solar, real estate, oil wells right now. So it's pretty awesome. Just follow the journey through there. If anybody has questions, dude, I've got like free stuff online that I give out all the time. Like, you know, I don't, a lot of this stuff is just, it's free. It should be free. Like I got, you know, my license plate should say YouTube University. Like, this stuff should be free. We shouldn't have to charge for this. But if somebody needs personal coaching, then they need to find somebody. If it's not me, I can help point somebody in the right direction.
Yeah. Man, well, the reason you got to charge is because if you don't, people don't value the information, right? And I've experienced that myself.
Sure.
You know, like, I don't pay for something and I'm like, oh, you know, like, I didn't pay for it. It didn't cost me. So, yeah. But yeah, man. So like, yeah, anyone listening, go ahead and like give Mikey Lucas a follow, because his content is the real deal. I've watched a ton of the content. He drops wisdom and he drops a lot of value. So, like, if you as well, if you have not subscribed to this channel, to this podcast, to the YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so that you are able to get notified whenever we drop another life-changing podcast interview. And the last thing that I want to say, man, is that just like Lucas, who, in order to become a hitter, he was in an office full of hitters, right? You got to start surrounding yourself with with high level people, right? Like the fastest way for you to level up yourself, your life, your marriage, and your business is for you to surround yourself with people who are doing all the things that you want to be, do, and have, right? And that's the fastest way for you to level up yourself, for you to surround yourself with people who are the definition of where you want to be. And one of the easiest ways that I found for you to do that is to start a podcast. So I have a special. So you have a book, Lucas. I just wanted to mention that. So like you mentioned that you wanted to give a free book to anyone who watches this episode, and you'll cover the cost of the book as long as they cover the cost of the shipping. Yep. Well, I am going to put a special link on the description of wherever this is published, right? Just for this episode, just for the episode with Mikey Lucas, to teach people a free training on how to start, grow, launch, monetize, and automate a podcast, right? So that they can start building a network of people who will help them level up.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, that's it. So yeah, man, thank you very much for being here, man. I really appreciate you. And yeah, let's keep in touch, and I'll see you later, man.
Appreciate your time. Thank you, Alex.
Bye-bye, man. Thank you for watching the Gentleman's Success, Happiness, and Fulfillment Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with one friend, leave us a comment, and let us know. 99% of people never leave a review or comment, but we love and are very thankful with the 1% of you who do. If there's something or someone you want to see on this podcast, send me a message on Instagram at Alex_Ramirez1020 and let me know. As a thank you for that, I have an amazing surprise for each and every one of you who does take the time to leave us a comment or review on YouTube or one of the major podcasting platforms